Very happy to talk to you, Emre Guney from Skyscanner. Uh, really glad to catch up with you after all this time. What I wanted to talk to you, especially because we are in the middle of airline conversion optimization white paper and survey, and you
Yeah.
have a long history of working on the growth and CRO in the airline industry for Pegasus Airlines, but
Yeah.
now moved to Skyscanner, and this is something that's really interesting to me to see what is the comparison between an airline and, let's say, a digital first new wave of travel company. So maybe before we start, Emre, can you just give a little bit of background, what you do or what was your past and how did you end up in growth and airline and then Skyscanner?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my background is my education is economics and marketing. After I studied marketing, I found out that I always have been interested in understanding human behavior, why people do what they do, and that kind of stuff. The first company I started after my master's degree was Renault, the French car
Okay.
maker, and I was in digital realm over there. I was mainly doing digital marketing, and from the very start, I have always been in the digital industry. But after like 2.5 years or 3 years later, I moved to Pegasus. That's where I a little bit more focused on to conversion mindset. You know,
Okay.
finishing the journey within the digital assets. So the last 6 years I have been there, and 2.5 months before I moved to London to Skyscanner, and here I am. I'm doing the growth here as well.
Okay, good. So your role at Pegasus, if I'm not mistaken, you are in charge of growth, let's say conversion optimization, but
Yeah.
also of digital product, yes?
Yes, yes, a combination of both. Yeah, like we mean like digital products, our website and our mobile app, uh, but also not only building them but also growing them, uh,
Optimizing.
yeah, optimizing them.
Okay, so maybe if you can explain just a little bit,
Yeah,
how was your growth team, or let's say this conversion optimization team at Pegasus set up? Because what I saw in our survey, Pegasus is basically one of the rare airlines that had, let's say, a real CRO team in place. Only 30% of airlines that we surveyed has this team. Otherwise, has just one, let's say, individual specialist.
yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, we call our team growth team as well. Not
Okay.
only like conversion optimization, we want to own the whole customer journey through like from anonymous user to a loyal user through our digital products. We were 6 people over there,
Okay.
including me, but we also do have many valuable external partners that we
Okay.
outsource our some growth activities that we do together. So 6 people is not enough to run your growth activities in 40 markets that you fly, even though your base market is your home country. So we get lots of help from our external partners. I say partners because we didn't have a classic agency client relationship, because we had a combined hybrid team that we work in sprints, like a unified team for the same purpose, for the same goal. But the Pegasus team, Pegasus growth team, was mainly combined of ARR funnel, if you know what I mean. 2 people for leading the acquisition growth activities, like paid and unpaid, like just bottom of the
Mhm.
funnel, bottom of the acquisition funnel, rather than, because we had a separated brand team as well,
Okay.
who created awareness and pushing people towards the acquisition funnel. And then 2 people focusing on product and activation, but also retention as well. And lastly, we had a conversion rate optimization specialist who was leading the whole experimentation process at every growth level, not only activation, not only like website, but also helping people from acquisition to design the experiments, run the experiments, analyze the experiments results, and share the learning with other stakeholders, etc. So, including me, these six people were running the whole digital growth cycles, I can say. Yeah, that,
Okay,
that was
so if
this.
I understand, like you said, you had like a core team which was internal, and then for a lot of CRO activities, you had like external partners which you outsourced. So, for
Yeah.
example, did you outsource activities like development, advanced analytics, things like that?
Yes, yes. We had a one partner, very close partner. We have been working for the last 6 or 7 years in Pegasus. They were mainly two teams. One team is focusing for performance acquisition, and the other team was focusing on establishing the infrastructure of measurement, but also analyzing the data, I mean, digital analytics, and also developing the experiments. So that team was like a cross-functional team, like we had designers and developers in that team. And they were running the experiments with the guidance of the team in our the member of the team, and also they were analyzing and sharing the results of the experiments with us. So yeah, I mean, we have got one people for conversion optimization, but with that dedicated team, we had like nearly six people of a team just focusing on CRO.
So, would you say that this kind of setup, like you said, you had internals, conversion optimization, let's say specialist expert who was coordinating this external team, and then the external team, was this setup, you think, something that, let's say, for a medium-sized airline allows to do more experiments and do them faster?
Yes, I do believe so, because yeah, the main goal would be having everything in-house and building experiments within your organization. But to move there from the place that you are right now takes time, because it's not only upskilling people, but like getting the necessary tools. But most of it, like the invisible part of iceberg, is the culture. So with the help of the external partner, it would be easier, quicker, faster, in order to distribute this experimentation culture and see some results. And it's like going into gym as well. I mean, when you do your first experiments, you feel the same feeling that you feel after the first day at gym. Every muscle aches. So in order to see your momentum and see your velocity and speed, learning speed, it would be beneficial for companies to work with external partners, but as a hybrid. So there is
Uh,
another culture within it as well. It's not like do this and report back to me
mhm.
the results. So you need to learn all together.
Okay, so maybe what would you say was the biggest challenge of doing, let's say, conversion optimization, growth, and experimenting in an airline environment? Is
Yeah.
this culture part of the iceberg, or is more like the tech part, the booking engines, the technology stack? What would you see was the biggest challenge?
Well, I can say both. Yeah, like you mentioned, the first one is culture, because everyone who hasn't run any experiments think that a lack of tooling or lack of data or I don't know, lack of resources are the bottlenecks for running experiments, but it's not. When you run your first experiments, you understand it's the you fail to design a proper hypothesis, or you fail to target the right audience. You fail to design alternatives like variations.
Yeah.
So with that, and you understand the importance of prioritization because you change your mindset towards learning fast without sacrificing your own sources like money, stuff, and also development source. So the first one was culture, yeah, because it's in our innate nature for people. No one wouldn't be wrong. So when someone says, especially upper management says, let's change this at the checkout, let's put this ancillary on this step. When you experiment on that on that idea, let's say hypothesis, assumption, and when you see the bad results, I mean, as a growth professional, you get excited because you fail fast and you fail forward. But if you didn't do this and you know spend all your resources in order to build that thing, you would be failing much more indeed. So you would be much more in trouble. So the first one was culture, like, but I don't mean like culture not only convincing the CXO level, but other stakeholders as well. So because in a huge airline, the product, the digital products are for everyone, especially for end customers. So you always need to listen to end customers. So having the customers' requests in the pipeline, the production pipeline, and aligning with them all the stakeholders with the experimentation and learning culture was the first bottleneck we achieved. And the second one was the tech, as you say, because airlines are more operation-oriented companies by their nature. They should be, because they do a very fantastic job by carrying people from point A to point B, and the job is really hard. Lots of regulations internationally, so the focus is there. So when you try to make your booking engine more flexible and scalable, it takes time. It's not, you know, from night to day. So that was the second thing I can say.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And now that you move to Skyscanner, yes,
Yeah.
let's say this is the digital company. It has only the digital product.
Yeah.
How would you say, what is the main difference when it comes to this culture that you said that is below the iceberg, not seen,
Yeah.
when it comes to experimenting and growth?
Yeah. I would. Yeah. It's the. That's. I mean, I was really surprised when I started here because I was following the Skyscanner's Medium
Yeah.
and sharings about their transformation as well. But as you say, yeah, the experimentation and growth mindset is quite deep and at a very large scale. So lots of people are focusing on growing products in each and every step of the funnel with different markets. So there are, I mean, the speed and the pace here is mind blowing. I mean, you learn every day something new, and it's not always good news, bad news as well. I mean, some experiment, like failing in an experiment, show you quicker way to solve the problems, the traveler problems. You see some winning cases from other markets that you can apply within another market, see if it works over there. So I would say there are two main differences. One is the scale, like the people and the tools and the culture, and also the focus because of the difference. I mean, there is no like there is only one focus here: solving travelers' problem, via digital products, since there is no operation here. So
Okay.
take a lot of time and focus.
Okay, and for this scale that you're talking about, yeah, you said one is the number of people and teams. I also follow a Skyscanner Medium blog, and I see this lean organization of squads and tribes.
Yeah.
So, is this the way you see that enables Skyscanner to do this at a larger scale? So, have a lot of metrics independent teams working on different part of the digital journey and optimizing it constantly instead of one central team managing all.
Yeah, that helps a lot. That makes things faster and quicker. And it's not like black and white. If something doesn't work, the organization try something else in terms of team structure and etc. So it's in the like experimentation culture is in the way of working as well. If let's say if you don't run your processes through Trello, let's say like a tool, then try something else. So it's very flexible and very quick, and that kind of structure enables this speed and quickness. You're right. Yeah, having non-centralized and distributed squads and tribes like matrix structure gets people to work closely and quicker.
Okay. Do Skyscanner has also your own experimentation platform?
Yes. Yeah.
Because this
yeah.
is also what I see a trend for the companies that really want to scale to a high level. At the end, you need to build your own experimentation platform. Yes.
Yeah, it's hand in hand. You need to build your product very scalable and configurable for every people, because the highest level itself, like they said many years ago, for marketing is not only. I mean, marketing is so important that you shouldn't left to marketing department. It's same for growth. So it's not only for people who work labeled in growth team. It's everyone's job. So you need to configure your product configurable so that everyone can experiment within the product. But also you need to build an experiment platform embedded with your product so that you can solve your problems with proper hypotheses faster and quicker. Yes, you're right.
This is where I see airlines, I think, are failing now because, like you said, these experimentation platforms are not embedded in the core product, because these booking engines and booking solutions has this history of the past, and we are just dragging them along.
The current tools within the industry are like a piece of layer just in front of the experience currently, and it gives you a certain level of flexibility. But of course, if you can't embed within the core reservation system, you can't experiment on some core functions like pricing, bundling, and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
I agree. Okay, so maybe to sum up, last question or last challenge.
Yeah.
Now that you, like you said, see the other part, or see the, let's say, how growth and experimenting is done at Skyscanner. When you look back at your airline days, what learning, if you would go back, what learning would you take back and do differently if you go back to the airline environment?
Probably I would try implement more agile and lean approaches, even though we tried really hard and we moved Pegasus from one level to another level. I would definitely say that it's one of the few airlines within the region that focusing on growth and conversion optimization. So like upskilling people and increasing the speed, I would say.
Okay, Emre. Thank you. That was really great, and looking forward to follow more of your work at Skyscanner, and wish you all the best in the future. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.